Hello and welcome to today's 4P podcast. Today we have a guest that's on this program all the way from Tasmania. And this individual is, oh my gosh, her story is just riveting. To have someone with as much joy as she has, it's unbelievable once you hear her story. It's Dr. Angela Bennett. We'll be right back right after this.
Do you have the next big thing? That world-changing whatchamacallit? Do you have a story to tell? You need a show-stopping web presence. You need the web spinners at Bennett. With big picture solutions, spinning together SEO, stellar web design, blogging, podcasts, and social media integrations, you'll find yourself developing your latest and greatest thing, idea, or telling that next chapter in your story. Look us up today at webinit.com, and remember, you're not everywhere unless you're Webinit.
When looking for personalized details on life insurance or retirement planning without the overly aggressive sales pitch, I'm your resource. I'm Mel Kay with LifeInsuranceSafeZone.com. I will expertly address those needs without the accompanying pressure, allowing you to make an informed decision in your own time, enabling you to retire with dignity and permitting your loved ones on possibly the worst day of their lives to mourn you free from financial worries. I'm at 805-300-1769.
Welcome back to the program. You know, we have a person that is going to be on our show today, and I'm going to share the interview real soon, right after this break. But if you ever see her on Facebook, if you ever see her on Instagram, if you ever listen to her podcast, if you ever see anything like that, you're going to see someone with a ton of energy, lots of joy, always has a smile on their face, loves the Lord, all of these things that she is all about. And you would think that this person is just, has all this joy because her life was just, sunshine and rainbows the whole time. There's a song by a Canadian artist. Her name is Amanda Marshall, and it's a great song. It's called "Everybody's Got a Story That Will Break Your Heart." Great song. It is. You got to get it. You got to listen to it. Again, it's Amanda Marshall. Everybody's got a story that will break your heart, and that's exactly what we're going to hear today. Everybody's got a story. You have no idea what anybody's going through. You have no idea what anybody's went through. And sometimes, we have these biases, we have these assumptions, and we think that, oh, this person's had it easy, or this person's had it this way or that way. But the way to build up to where they are today, the way they got to where they are today, that's a journey. And we all have that journey that we go through. And so when we come back, we're going to listen to the journey of Dr. Angela Bennett. She is a fantastic individual. She will bring a smile to your face, but she also will, she'll also really enlighten you, and she will touch your heart for sure. We'll be right back with Angela Bennett right after this. Hey, 4Ps audience. First of all, I want to thank you for listening to the podcast, The 4Ps of You. I thoroughly enjoy doing it, and I thoroughly enjoy the feedback I get from listeners. I hope you enjoy the stories and the guests that come on this program all the time. And if you do enjoy the guests and the stories that come on this program, you will absolutely enjoy my book, The 4Ps of You. The 4Ps of You are a collection of stories dealing with purpose, planning, passion, and persistence. These stories are there to guide you through your journey to see exactly what you want in life. The 4Ps of You is available on all forums. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it Barnes & Noble. You can get it on Google Play. You can get it on Apple. You can get it anywhere you buy books. You can get it in paperback, or you can get it in e-form. Please, that's the 4Ps of You. Get it. Would love to have you read it, and continue to thank you for listening to the 4Ps podcast with Trunis Goggins.
Want a financial detective who translates your money into clear insights and understands your vision? Meet Rose Knows Bookkeeping. Free up your time and get peace of mind with accurate, up-to-date finances. Let Rose handle the numbers while you focus on success. Contact Rose Knows Bookkeeping today.
Welcome back. And our first segment, we were talking about entrepreneurship. We were talking about people who are well-rounded, people who are well-versed, people who have turned their lives around in so many different ways, and people have overcame so many different obstacles to become the people they are. And I brought up some very big historical figures. But today I bring up somebody who, and she's my guest today, I bring up somebody who I just met recently. She is in my second favorite country. I love America, but she's in my second favorite country of Australia. And Canada, you're my brother, so you don't count. So I always love you. You know that. But my second favorite country of Australia, I've met her and I have read up on her, and I'm literally inspired. She instantly became a friend. Her name is Dr. Angela Bennett. We do have a mutual friend in the publishing business. This individual, she is an author. She is an entrepreneur. She is a mentor. She is a woman of God, and she is absolutely an inspiration to so many people, so many people around the world. Dr. Angela Bennett, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I am so good, Tunis. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be here.
Well, thank you so much. Now, you live on the island of Tasmania. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, go ahead.
I do now, initially from Sydney.
Initially from Sydney. Now, I will say this, I am probably stating my age. I remember every Saturday morning, and I'm going to ask this question. You're already giggling, so you already know where I'm coming from. Every Saturday morning, I used to watch the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner show, and they had the Tasmanian Devil. All right. I loved that character. It was my favorite character on all of the of all Bugs Bunny. I want to know, are there Tasmanian devils in Tasmania?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if they're becoming extinct, but there definitely are. You don't want to touch them. They're about as creepy as that animated figure.
Oh, see, I need to see one, and I know I will be we'll talk about this later on, but I'll be in Australia in March, and I just need to see at least one in the wild. I will stay as far away from it as I can, but I still need to see it. There you go. You know, Angela, if people, you have a great image. You are so, you dress impeccably. You have a you have a podcast, I'm sorry. You have conferences that you put together in Australia. You are a author. You are an entrepreneur. You are all these things. You are a mother, and surprisingly, you are a grandmother. But I would say that you are living the life that everyone would love to live at your young age. Has it always been that way?
It has been the furthest thing from that, Tunis, the furthest thing. And do you want me to go ahead?
You go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So it's really interesting. I thank God that I do not look like what I've been through. So I didn't start here, and it marvels me, because I know that people look at me and go, oh, what would she know? She's never been through anything. What would she know? But I tell you, it's the furthest thing from the truth. I should be probably toothless and living in the gutter with my story. But by the grace of God, I'm not, and I don't, and I have my teeth, and I have a roof over my head. And I say that because from the ages of 3 to 7, I was molested by a family friend. At 14, I was raped by a friend. 17, I had my first child. By 19, I was a prostitute. I was working in a brothel. So, and then later on down the track, I end up with addictions, alcohol, cocaine. And on top of that, the most shattered heart that I just thought, I am honestly going to die from a broken heart. And there's literally a disease that people die from, a broken heart. And I thought for sure that's how I was going to die. I was just completely devastated, completely an outcast by society standards. but not by God's. Through the years, there's been multiple relationships, abusive in the mental and emotional way, eventually physically, one that almost cost me my life, literally. He was a trained special forces in the army, and I found him with his hands around my neck this one morning, and I thought, that's it. That's literally it. Just before I was about to pass out, I heard the voice of God tell me what to do to be able to, he gave me instruction to be able to get out of the predicament that I was in that was about to cost me my life. And just like that, he let go of my neck, and the rest is history. I won't bother going into it. But there are multiple times through my life where God has saved it. And there's a few that I know of because I've attempted to take my own life a few times. And miraculously, I'm still here. And I wonder if I'll ever know of the times when, God actually saved me and I didn't know about it, because I've put myself in some stupid situations that could have cost me my life. But I'm still here. And it just goes to show that no matter what we've been through, no matter what we've done in life, we're never too far from the heart of God. Like, we're never too far gone for him to call us back home and for him to use us. Because everything that the enemy meant for evil and for destruction, God turns it around for good for those who love him. So I'm literally a walking testimony.
You are. So, and for the audience, you lived this life. It was a reckless life. It was a dangerous life. What point did you say enough's enough?
There were a few times where I said enough is enough, but it wasn't quite rock bottom. But this one particular event, I had drunk 2 bottles of champagne and polished off a bottle of vodka as well. That's not ever a good combination.
No.
But I found myself on the floor of the shower again, wanting to end my life because I just was in so much pain. And this was about 3 years ago, not that long ago. It was about 3 years ago. And I was just in so much pain. I'm like, God, I just don't know how to do this anymore. I've been trying, and I'm not getting anywhere. How can I do this? And so my daughter, who was about 20 at the time, she spent the night on suicide watch. She put me into bed, and not knowing if she was going to wake up to a dead mother in the morning or Anyway, the next morning, I woke up and we were sitting on the couch, and she just said, Mum, last night broke me. I can't do this anymore. You see, the thing is, my children have been on this journey with me. So they've seen the moments where I've been so broken and so despondent that I've wanted to take my own life, and they've tried to protect me. And that's not a child's role. It's not a child's role. Like, we're supposed to be protecting them. So anyway, I said to her, I can't do this anymore either. And I knew that if I knew I needed help, there are things that we can work through on our own, and there are levels that we get to that it's like I actually need outside help, because I'm not capable of getting through addiction on my own without the tools and the knowledge of how to do that. So I searched for rehab facilities. The wait was about 3 months and the cost was exorbitant. Even though I have private health fund, they didn't cover a lot of it. But I just thought, I'm going to be dead within 3 months. I won't last. And so thankfully, for the last epidemic that we had, a lot of things are online now. So I found this program that was actually online. And so we did 3 days a week of group therapy, and the other 2 days a week I was one-on-one with a therapist. I was terrified of the weekends, doing weekends on my own with no support. But I made it through. By the grace of God, I made it through. And I'm now, 2.5 years sober, never touched a drop and never will again. Because the thing with addiction, you don't just start again, you actually pick up where you left off.
Okay.
So if I was to crack a bottle of champagne, it wouldn't be just one champagne, and it wouldn't I'm just like, no, there's no alcohol in my home. It's one of those things that I've drawn a line with. Like we have to protect ourselves when there are things in our lives that we know are triggers, if you want to call them that, for us. We have to protect ourselves and go, yeah, that's a line in the sand. And so even with depression, because depression was huge for me, I was medicated at one point in my life. So now I've learned how to capture those thoughts and take them into captivity and submit them to God, and recognize the signs of, hey, I'm beginning a down spiral. So I need to stop and reset and refocus and get back into the word of God, of who he says that I am. And yeah, just knowing those signs of things that are not beneficial for us is
Right.
important.
You know, your story and who I am talking to now, it is again, you are inspiring, and now I see you not only are you inspiring, you have a great deal of strength. I do know that you find strength in the Lord, and I do know that he is absolutely your guiding light. 2.5 years, you are very successful. I do know that, we were talking offline. The reason why you moved to Tasmania is to be with your grandchildren and your daughter. And you have successful business. You have a ministry, and you've done this in such a short time. So the energy, and I am a PhD, but I'm not that type of doctor. The energy that you had in your life before, you have obviously channeled it to become the person you are today. Your ministry in 2 short years is literally worldwide. You have a reach that is worldwide. And so, clearly that you have a calling, and you have just, I don't know, I'm almost rambling right now. But you have grown to this level. Your kids are very inspirational to you. God is very inspirational to you. God, obviously, everything when you reset to the Word of God. My question, other than those two items, and I don't want to call God an item, that's horrible, but I mean, other than those two things, what keeps you so motivated, so focused, so incredibly driven, and to make a transformation from someone who was literally in a shower about ready to die to someone who is now speaking life to the world? What drives you to do that?
I love that question. Thank you for asking me. I never want another woman to find herself in the situation that I was in. That's what drives me. I would go through everything that I went through. I would do it all again to save one woman from being in that emotional torment and heartache. I would do it all again for her. And the fact that God uses that mess, this is so cliche, but the fact that God uses that mess as my message, it's such a blessing to me. I look back over my life at all of the puzzle pieces and how they fit together. I heard someone say once, I have a great prophetic gifting of hindsight. And I thought, yeah, that's so good. That's so good. I love that. Me too.
Yeah.
But as I look back at all of the pieces, and there's been a lot of trauma. There's been a lot of guilt a lot of shame, a lot of regret, a lot of unforgiveness that I really had to work through and heal through. And so even within my own family unit with my children, there was a lot of damage done to them, and there's been a lot of healing. And God is so gracious that he gives these little windows of opportunities. I call them kisses from heaven, because they're just these little windows of opportunity to have conversations one-on-one with my children, to talk about the moments that were so wounding to them, because I don't want them to carry it. Yet I can't do the forgiveness and the work for them. That's their journey. But here's the thing. I heard someone say this the other day, and it was so powerful. The ripple effect of our inaction is epic. I don't know if they were their exact words, but they're my words. They're my paraphrasing. And so if I don't take action in certain things that God says to me, hey, this is an obstacle for you. You need to work on this. And it's confronting and it's uncomfortable and all of the things, but he's so gracious because he has so much more for us that we need to, and he helps us confront those obstacles and work through those obstacles, because he doesn't want to keep us, he doesn't want us to continue life being bound. There's too much for us to do. There's too many people for us to reach. There's too many people that our message needs to hear to pull them out of the situations that they find themselves in where they're feeling hopeless, for us to stay in bondage to those things. They're like the tools that the enemy gives us, and we just smack ourselves with them. Like shame and guilt and alcohol and sex in the wrong context, things like that. Like they're things that we just use against ourselves to keep us stepping into our greatness. And, you know, I've invested a lot of money in coaching because I wanted to always have someone in my life who is where I want to be. They've been where I'm at. They've done the work. They're where I want to be. So now I need you in my life to teach me how to do that. And I need to borrow your belief in me. Dr. John Tallarico, he was one of my favorite mentors. And I actually messaged him this morning, sent him a video, just thanking him for everything that he's brought into my life. Because he said to me, borrow my belief in you, Angela, until you believe in yourself. Because he saw things in me that I couldn't see. Had no idea how I was going to get out of these dark pits where it's like I'm trying to claw my way out of these dark pits, and I just don't know where to start and how to get there. I need someone to push me up, give me a helping hand to get up. And so I've invested a lot of money, and it's been worth it. It's been worth it, because I sit here today before you, this woman who 3 years ago you wouldn't have recognized. And it's really interesting. I mentioned this before we started recording. I've been doing 365 days of communion online. It's the longest 365 days ever, because I think I started it about 2 years ago. It's been a serious battle, and I'll explain. So when I first started my healing journey of recovery, one of my coaches said to me, I need you to do communion every day. And I was like, righto, like that's a Christian ritual thing. I don't really know why, but okay, I'll do that. And so I started doing it every day. And about 3 months down the track, God said to me, I want you doing this publicly. And I was like, absolutely not. Never. Absolutely never. This is between you and me. I'm not doing this live on Facebook. And he, of course, persisted for another 3 months or so. And so eventually I was like, all right. So I started recording. So I've got like this video journal of the last however many days of my growth and my progression, of how comfortable I've become, of how much I've grown, of the healing that God's done, of my understanding of the power of the bread and the blood of Jesus Christ and the impact that it has on our lives. It is a healing element. It's a healing gift that is given to us, and it heals you from the inside out. The sacrifice that Jesus made, the communion, that we partake in, that we do in remembrance of him until he returns. It's just so powerful. Like God just orchestrates everything to the point where I'm sitting here with you today. I remember the first podcast I did, I was so nervous and insecure and worried. And now I'm like, this is like having a coffee with my friend. Let's talk. And
It's just wonderful.
Yeah. So did that answer your question?
That does. It really does answer my question. It answers my question in a number of ways. One thing it does do is it does tell me, and it does tell my audience that whatever you're going through right now, you could be going through the darkest moment, and it doesn't need to be, I'm addicted to alcohol. It doesn't need to be anything. You could just be in a dark place.
Yeah.
It could be in a very dark place. But Angela is like she said, she's a living testimony to absolute recovery. I do not believe that anybody was put on this earth to be miserable. I don't believe it. I just do not believe it. I never have. I never will. I do know that, we are in a fallen world. That is for sure. And that's just the way it is. But God does not want us to be miserable. He did not create us to be miserable. He created us to love. He created us to make this world as pretty as it can be. And there are a lot of people in this world that are living in very dark times. And when you see stories like Dr. Angela, where it was dark for a very long time, and how when the light was on and when the light turned on, it shined so bright that, like I said this before, the world saw it. And so it is an inspiration to have you on here. I'm going to tell you right now, just listening to this story, it is actually, I'm a hopeful person, but it has given me a different perspective on life. And I hope it's given my audience a different perspective on life. If you need to, actually, I don't think you need to. You absolutely have to. I will send links. I'll have links how to get in touch with Dr. Angela Bennett. We are going to have a conference. I'm not going to go into it until it is officially announced, but we are going to have a conference. I am going to have the wonderful opportunity to go to Australia in March. I will get to see this individual. Not only, I'm seeing her face to face right now, but obviously we are literally an entire world away. I'm in North Carolina. She is in Australia. We are totally a world away. As a matter of fact, right now, not only are we a world away, she is actually in the future one entire day ahead of me, because we're not even in the same day right now. So, but I cannot wait to see her. And oh, by the way, I did get the plane tickets to go there, Dr. Angela, and by going over there to see you, I actually lose an entire day of my life. Literally. So next in 2025, I will only have 364 real days that I have been on. That's it. That's how many days I have. Because what happens is I fly, so I leave here on the 21st. I get there on the 23rd. Yes. Okay? And then I leave on the 29th. But I get back on the 28th, so I lose an entire day.
Yeah, you can't leave on the 29th, but we'll discuss that afterwards anyway.
Okay, then I'll leave on the 30th. That's no problem. Hey, and I was going to have a joke that was political, and I'm not going to do that. I was going to say something about my travels, and I'm just not going to do that. And so there you go. I refuse to talk politics, and I even refuse to joke about politics on this show, so I won't do that. But Dr. Angela, thank you so much for being on this show. This is not the last time you'll be on my podcast. You are an inspiration to me, and I do know that you're going to be an inspiration to so many people on my audience, in my audience today. We will be right back right after this.
Stopping web presence. You need the web spinners at Bennett. With big picture solutions spinning together SEO, stellar web design, blogging, podcasts, and social media integrations, You'll find yourself developing your latest and greatest thing, idea, or telling that next chapter in your story. Look us up today at Webinet.com, and remember, you're not everywhere unless you're Webinet.
Your vision? Meet Rose Knows Bookkeeping. Free up your time and get peace of mind with accurate, up-to-date finances. Let Rose handle the numbers while you focus on success. Contact Rose Knows Bookkeeping today.
You know, we are right back, and I'm going to tell you, I was so enthralled with this segment that I know that Dr. Angela had one more thing to say, and I have never come back with a guest on my podcast until today. We are back with Dr. Bennett. Dr. Bennett, you have the floor yet again.
Okay, thank you for that. Two things. First of all, you said that God doesn't want people to be miserable. I just want to say this. God's character is joy. His character is joy and love. And people are always like, why are you so happy all the time? I'm like, I'm made in the image of my dad. His character is joy. So you were spot on that he doesn't want us to be miserable. I love that you said that. Thank you so much. But the second thing is just thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to share my story. It's all for the glory of God. It's not about me, but just thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share what is possible for anybody who finds themselves in horrid situations, or even if not a horrid situation, just anything that is possible. Whatever your dreams are that God's given you, just do it. Just go for it. So thank you for having me, Trunis. I really appreciate
it was an absolute delight. And like I said in the last segment, which I thought was the last segment, I've interviewed fantastic guests on this show, and your story, and even my book, The 4 Ps of You, it is a positive message. It is a message of you can overcome anything. And your story, it is, I mean, if that's not evidence, that it's just, I was so inspired by that story. And it was a great, and again, like I said, I know that you had to go through a lot, but to see who you are today and to see what you do today is, it is extremely inspiring. And I'm blessed to have you on the show, and my audience it's a privilege that my audience got to hear your story and were inspired by it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will be right back with our final segment after this. The podcast, The 4 Ps of You. I thoroughly enjoy doing it, and I thoroughly enjoy the feedback I get from listeners. I hope you enjoy the stories and the guests that come on this program all the time. And if you do enjoy the guests and the stories that come on this program, you will absolutely enjoy my book, The 4 Ps of You. The 4 Ps of You are a collection of stories dealing with purpose, planning, passion, and persistence. These stories are there to guide you through your journey to see exactly what you want in life. The 4 Ps of You is available on all forums. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it Barnes & Noble. You can get it on Google Play. You can get it on Apple. You can get it anywhere you buy books. You can get it in paperback, or you can get it in e-form. Please, that's The 4 Ps of You. Get it. Would love to have you read it, and continue to thank you for listening to the 4 Ps podcast with Trunis Goggins. You know, that was the very first time I've ever brought a guest back after a commercial break. I've been doing this for over a year, almost a year and a half now. And every podcast that I've ever had, I've always had it set up. You know, you could probably tell if you've been in my audience for a long time that I have an opening segment, interview, and then closing comments, and then I'll talk to you next week. This was the first time I ever brought someone back. And the reason why I brought somebody back is when I thought the interview was over, guess what? She said, the interview's not over. I want to say one more thing to your audience. And I brought her back for that. And I really do appreciate that. I'm glad she definitely wanted me to bring her back, and I'm glad that I did. Angela, is an awesome individual. She is someone that her story is just what she has been through and what is she doing now. And it's just unbelievable. And the recovery that she's gone through, you know, we have situations where we go through some type of dependency. You know, we grab onto something. We are addicted to something. We do something that sometimes it doesn't just affect you. It affects the entire community around you. It affects your family, your friends. It affects people at your job. It just affects people. It's a massive effect. And so when you listen to her story, I want you to listen to you. Is there anything that you're doing or anybody around you that you need to say, hey, listen, I can't live with this anymore? And if that person loves you as much as Angela loved her family and loved the Lord, there will be a chance for change. Remember that. I hope you enjoyed her story. If you want more information on Dr. Angela Bennett, I will have it in the podcast notes. We will actually be together in March. I will be at the Anointed Warrior Conference, speaking at her conference. I'm so happy that she invited me. And I will be in Sydney, Australia in March of 2025, and there will be a lot more information on that coming very, very soon. I will talk to you all very soon. Again, like I said, after Hurricane Helene, our schedule as far as releasing podcast has been a little out of sorts, but I will definitely be right back on a schedule once we get everything going smoothly with power and internet connection. I will talk to you all very soon. I definitely will be talking to you next week. We have a great guest coming up, and we'll talk to you then. Talk to you later.